Day. Oh my God, I'm recording. I'm literally may as well just go be an IT tech person now these days. I'm like on fire. Right, okie dokes. So, as we said, a few issues this evening, but we are still rolling, and that is what we do, isn't it? And it's a little bit like what we're going to talk about tonight, how we can get things done better done than perfect. And we wanted to come on and do a training this evening, which was about Scentsy summer success, because Laura's obviously been doing this 8 and a bit years. I've been doing it 5 years, and I was guilty myself in the beginning of saying it's really quiet because it's summer. As I've gone on to build a bit of a team, obviously we hear that from our team, sort of it's really quiet because it's summer. And it's a bit like anything. How can we flip that mindset? How can we work with summer? Summer happens like every year. So what are we going to do about stopping that being a block for some of our businesses? I know lots of people thrive in the summer months. So we just wanted to give you some really practical tips that hopefully you can go away from tonight and think, actually, that's made me think of something. Yeah, I'm going to make that my own and I'm going to go away and do that thing. And we wanted to bring it to you at the beginning of July so that you hit the ground running. I know we've got quite a lot of team up in Scotland. I think your summer has already begun. And then obviously we're all taking our holidays at different times. So summer is different. That there's no getting away from that. Summer is different, but it doesn't have to be difficult. Okay. We can see summer and the summer holidays as an opportunity, not an obstacle. But it's about thinking how do we do that? Do we see the change in our routine, all the other things to do as a problem, or do we see them as opportunities to build our business? So share in the comments as we go, because obviously I'm a one man band tonight. Share in the comments as we go. Have you ever felt that summer's quiet? I have. Have you ever said to yourself, nobody's buying because it's summer, everybody's on the holidays, nobody's got any money because it's summer? We've all done it. And people won't buy because they're going on holidays. So I'm sure they'll be, yep, this is me, this is me. We're getting lots of that in the comment. I completely relate. I've said it myself. Emma's just said she used to, but that was when she told herself it was exactly that. Say it every single year. So brilliant. Hopefully tonight you're going to leave with some ideas why you don't need to say that every single year. So we're going to change that belief. We're going to start deciding we're just going to ask, because lots of us decide people are skint because it's Christmas, but it's not Christmas. Then they're shopping at Christmas. We're planning against that tonight. People decide people are skint because it's summer. People decide people are too busy because it's summer. They don't want to join a business because it's summer holidays. But we don't know that unless we ask, and we've got to not assume. I remember somebody did it at an Essex training day. Who was it? They did a really good training on not assuming. It is not, forgive me, my brain, if you remember who it was, you tell me. There's somebody in Sense Squad. It's been a long day. But the name's escaped me. But they did an amazing training, which was around not presuming. It is not for us to decide what people need to buy, what income people have got. You never know. So we're never going to assume people don't have money. And we're not going to assume people don't want fragrance in the summer. We're not going to assume people are not using their warmers in the summer. That is not for us to choose. We are just here to open our shop. It never changes, no matter the time of the year. We're going to buy, host, Ria. That was it. It was on the tip of my tongue. I knew it began with an R. We're going to buy, we're going to try and get people to buy, host, or join. That still happens in the summer. The principles do not change. And busy people are often the best at this business because they're meeting more people on the go. And summer's brilliant for that because you're going to more places. And there are so many people who don't even have kids. So the summer makes like no change for them whatsoever, which is what Emma's just said. I have quite a few male customers nowadays, and Claire in my team has got herself a male customer very recently. Single men, no children. They spend a lot of money. They don't order little and often, but when they do, they send you these big, huge bulk orders. So I purposefully, in the summer holidays, try and find people who don't have kids, older people, or people who've just never had children, or single males. Like they are the people you want to be trying to get yourself in contact with because they ain't got little ankle biters stealing all their money for ice creams. So we're going to reframe our summer success. If we do have kids and we're going to all those places, then you're going to more places. Maybe you're taking nieces and nephews out if you don't yourself. But let's think about the summer. So loads of people are saying it's quiet and it's different. Routine for the masses is different in the summer. If you've got children, they're off school, you're maybe at more social events yourself, you're going to outdoor activities, you're at weddings, festivals, sports clubs. We're having lots of fun and we don't actually always want to work our business as much. Because of that, we're out socializing ourselves, or we've been out and actually tonight it's been really, really hot all day in my work. Like my office literally is hotter than the surface of the sun, I think, and there's no air. And I come home and I don't really want to work my business. But actually, if we just stop working for summer when it's hot, that's like a good chunk of the year, and we've got to find ways around that. So if we're going to all these places, to me, that doesn't sound quiet. If we're doing more in the summer, we're seeing more people, we're doing more things, it doesn't need to be quiet. You've just got to see it as opportunities for you to take from those places. Examples are you might meet more people, you might be more visible to people who you've not met before. You can have those conversations and those networking opportunities. But make Scentsy fit around your life. We don't want people, like you say, feeling like you're chained to your social media and your phone all through the summer when you really want to enjoy your family time. But it's about making sure you stay present, but be smart with it. So can you use scheduling a bit more if you're somebody that doesn't normally schedule? My tip with scheduling, and I share this with my team all the time, is just to make sure it then doesn't become like really spammy. So make sure you are still, I almost tell my team to audit their social media, particularly if you're a big scheduler, because I am a really big scheduler because of work. But I will sit and go through my own customer group quite regularly and make sure that it's still got, hopefully every day, an example of me using Scentsy or something I'm just doing with my family that's nothing to do with Scentsy. Making sure I'm not using lots of AI and lots of flyers, that I'm actually using like real life photos, making sure I'm going live. And sometimes it's really easy as we're busy to forget these things. But if you just take 5 minutes to go to your own customer group and through the eyes of a customer think, actually, do I know who this person is? Do I understand how to use Scentsy? Do I understand how to join? Do I understand how to place an order? Because sometimes if people are joining your group, they can very easily be like, don't actually know how I order. And just doing like a little mini audit of your own social media. But scheduling can be really good for the summer. Oh, I've lost you. 1 second. Thought she was a tech genius 2 minutes ago. I'm back. So yeah, you can still schedule, like Emma said, real life posts. You just take pictures, which is what I do all the time. Every time I use Scentsy, I take a picture, and then when I sit to schedule, I just look through my camera reel, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I changed my pods the other day. Your customers don't need to know when that was. Or if it's really obvious, like you've took a selfie and I think, oh well, I went live in that the other day, they'll know that's from the other day. I'll say on Saturday I changed my wax and it's still going strong. You can still be really sort of present and sharing yourself, but pivoting how you share and thinking, actually, we're not really doing much today. We're having just a chill movie day at home. I'm going to look through my camera reel and schedule a few days posts. And then I know that they're going out because we're at the farm and we're at the beach, or I just don't really want to go on my social media that day. Just think smart about it, and share what you're doing. Like summer is easier for just sharing you, I find. We do tend to do a bit more. Like it's nicer to take a photo of the park when it's not pissing down. Like it just becomes easier to create content, I think, where you can just pop that up and then people get to know you and interact with you. So just be smart with it. Don't be chained to your phone, and make it fit around yourself, around your life. So the key message there is you cannot sell from a secret business. And that's what we're going to think about tonight. In summer, a lot of your opportunities to build a team or get new customers is going to be from seeing people face to face, but they need to know that you do Scentsy. And we're not saying like meeting a mum at the park and being like, hi, I'm a Scentsy consultant. Do you want to buy some wax? Like that's not what we mean. But actually, you've got to be brave to tell people that you're a consultant. And I wasn't in the beginning, which is why my team my team growth was slow and steady, I would say. It took me a lot longer to get to directors than a lot of the girls that I work with in that sort of director space because I wasn't really comfortable with that. I wasn't comfortable with introducing myself as a Scentsy consultant to begin with. It was very alien to me, network marketing. I've never done anything remotely like it in my life, and it just felt a little bit strange. But when I started to reframe that in my head, then things changed a lot. So what I first started doing in the summers, and this became a real success of mine, I always feel like my business has been built in the summers. When I'm working, I always imagine myself, I know people say this a lot, but I do always imagine myself through the July and the summer. I feel like I'm just planting seeds constantly. And in my earlier days in this business, I used to get a bit disheartened and think, this is just not this is just not happening. Everybody says keep planting, the seeds will grow. And I'm like, when does this actually happen? But actually, what's happened to me all the time is my business does grow in August. And sometimes the numbers might be down on the months prior or the months after that. But it always comes back to fruition. So come the September, those people are joining the team, those people are coming back to me with orders. So just because you might be laying the foundations in August and you might not always get that immediate gratification, it doesn't mean it's not working. It doesn't mean people are not remembering you. Just tonight, somebody's messaged me. She is now a brand new customer from a WhatsApp party that I did 9 months ago. She didn't order at the WhatsApp party. She has ignored all my follow-ups. I've just scrolled back through and she has just messaged me to ask if I've got any stock, wax in stock that she can buy for her TA as an end of term present. Like that consistency has paid off. I could have been like, she's just not interested. Like she'd never responded to anything. And I don't harass her. We don't do that. But I just check in periodically and she's remembered me. She's thought, oh, I want a last minute gift. And she's remembered me. So it pays off. And sometimes summer's a little bit like that too. But in the summer, what I would say is as you are meeting new people, maybe you're at clubs or maybe you're on holidays or maybe you're talking to the owner of where you're going on holiday. Introduce Scentsy. So I know Laura was going to share a story tonight. She has a really good relationship with a woman that owns some glamping pods. So Laura booked, she's repeatedly gone to this person now. She booked with her a few times a few years ago. And as they were backwards and forwards on the email, Laura's sign off on her email, as is mine, I know lots of you do this, it says that she is a Scentsy consultant. It's like an automatic setting you can put on your email so that at the end of it, it's like your name and that you're a Scentsy consultant and your details on your website. And that struck up a conversation. Laura will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure this was the story. That struck up a conversation. They were backwards and forwards arranging their booking for this glamping pod. And then Laura had mentioned to her, I'll bring you a sample pack for my business too when I come. And the lady said, oh, I did wonder what that was at the bottom of your email. I have had a little look on the website. That led to an order. That woman did go on actually to become a teamie over time. I don't think she does it anymore. But Laura, I know they've now got a working relationship. Laura obviously recently lost her mum to MS. This woman's mum has MS too, or had MS. I can't remember which way, forgive me. But they've built like a working relationship just through that email sign off being on there and offering somebody, like taking something to somebody where you're staying at their property for a holiday. Now, I do that all the time. I'm sure lots of you do. But making sure that you gift Scentsy, if I stay in a hotel or anywhere, I will always leave some form of sample pack with all my details of how that person could get in touch with me. The owner might pick it up, or it might be the cleaner, or they might leave it for the next guest. But you never know, opportunity is everywhere. When I get off a plane, I often give the air hostess a scent circle and say, like, thank you for a great flight. I have had a customer, was it when we got back from Greece? Emma, I can't remember if it was Greece or when we went to Berlin, but I do have a customer that is based in Manchester and she is an air hostess. I gave her scent circle as we got off a plane once when we'd been on some sort of Scentsy trip, and she has ordered. She followed me on Instagram and she has ordered. So these opportunities to branch out are everywhere. Then you never know, that person, if you strike up a relationship with them, they have a WhatsApp party, you could then have yourself a whole customer network in a completely different area of the country. They could go on to join your team. The opportunities from the small things, you never know where they're going to go. Not so long ago, I stayed with Berlin, Emma said. Somebody's left something at the hotel they stayed in a few weeks ago. That's good. Even just carrying your leaflets and business cards. Exactly, Andrea. It's just anything to give people. And branding yourself. I think that's what somebody said here. There's something about travel cups. So branding yourself, yeah. So sentiment, you're branding yourself. If you got one of the bum bags, having the bum bag, having the cup, having a t-shirt, something that lets people know that you are a Scentsy consultant can strike up conversations. And before you know it, you could be finding it because some people know what Scentsy is and they've lost the consultant. And then that's just a way for them to sort of branch that conversation with you. Not so long ago, I stayed at an Airbnb and I was so excited for this weekend. We'd been having a really rough time as a family. We were taking my eldest to Silverstone as I think it was his Christmas present. And my grandparents lived near Silverstone. I'd not seen them for ages. They'd been really unwell. So I was really excited. We'd booked this gorgeous little cottage and it was going to be a fab weekend. And we hit loads of traffic on the way down. We didn't get there till really late, straight after work. And then we went to have tea. And then I thought, that's a bit weird. The bin's still full of rubbish. I thought, that's not very good for an Airbnb. Didn't think much of it. Went upstairs and I was like, I don't think that bed's been changed. I was a bit like Goldilocks, like, oh, I don't think that bed's been changed. Then I went to the bathroom and I was like, right, okay, they're just other people's filthy, dirty, stinking towels. Like, by this point, it was 10:15 at night. I was not impressed. To be, in fairness to the owners, they were amazing. We got in touch with them through Airbnb. They were ringing us. It turned out they actually live in Scotland, but they have these properties in the Midlands. It was an absolute like nightmare, but they fixed it for us quickly. They put us up in a different hotel. They refunded us fully for the Airbnb and we could go back the next day when the cleaners had been. When we got to the hotel, they said all food and drink was on them. They couldn't have done enough to rectify a pretty rubbish situation. After it, I built a relationship with them. I actually said to them, I feel you went above and beyond to fix that situation. Like it was really generous. Can I send you something from my business? They didn't even know what my business was. I sent them a fragrance flower in the post. They then got back in touch with me. They've got Airbnbs in the Midlands. They've got Airbnbs in Spain. Like I could have gone mad at those people and been like, this is ridiculous. Like I wanted to. But actually, it had been a miscommunication with the cleaner. The date had been wrong. Like it was a mistake. Mistakes happen, but they did everything they could to fix it. I met them with kindness, and from that, we've sort of branching off a bit of a business partnership. So these are all little opportunities that you never know that can come from your summer holidays that you could work with. The other one that I often do is it's become a bit of a standing joke. I didn't get one in Mexico. It's because I only spoke to these girls, but and it's a bit of a standing joke, but I don't leave like a summer holiday without signing up somebody from Sun Lounger. But that didn't used to be the case. That came from when I sort of changed my mindset around my business. So naturally, when you get talking to someone around a Sun Lounger, you start with like, how old's the kids? Like, what are they into? Then you normally know the husband's name, the kid's name, the mum who's not even on holiday with them. Then you realise it's day free. You should probably ask them what their name is. But then you have those conversations. Then it starts with like, what do you do for work? It's a chit chat question that comes up all the time, and I used to explain that I just worked in a school and stopped at that. I told people what my sort of paid employment job was, and then I started introducing myself. I still say that because that is my job, and then I say, and I also have a home fragrance business. People are way more interested in that than my job in a school. Like it starts conversations, and then as the week goes on, obviously they'd see me just doing bits for Scentsy whilst I'm there, like or having fun, chatting to the girls. They see that actually, wow, she's earning money from a sun lounger, not really doing a great deal. She's obviously getting like a lot. She has a lot of fun doing it. If you then follow each other on social media as you meet people on holiday, they'll start to see what you're getting from your business. And then I normally gift them a scent circle as a leave, and normally say like safe flight, make sure your car smells good when you get back to it at the airport type thing. And that's led to I think 4 or 5 teamies now that I've met abroad So they live at different areas of the UK, but it's just other ways where actually that opportunity, you never know where that's come from. And it all came from just changing my mindset of being comfortable to tell people as part of what I do for a living is that I have a Scentsy business. It's like just a small twist, which do any of you do any of you still shy away from that, or do you all introduce yourself as having your own business? Because you all are business owners, and that is an interesting fact about you. Um, so you're going to a caravan place at the weekend. Great opportunity, Trish. Donna's getting better at telling people she has a Scentsy business. That's good. Try to. That's brilliant, Trish. It's just a small tweak. Sometimes it feels uncomfortable. Like we're all human. Um, Andrea always love that. So Kelly, you're so bad at it. So think of one place, start small, think of one place you're going to be this summer where you're actually going to do that. If that comes up, you're going to tell people, this is what you do. And
Katrina, sorry to interrupt. I'm here. So just to let you know I'm here. So but you carry on and I'll jump in when you're done on this segment.
okay, that's cool. Um, right, wait a minute, let me think where I am. I even color coded what we was going to talk about in different colors, and now I'm just lost because I was doing that. But yeah, that's all I was thinking on that bit. So not even looked at the notes. To be fair, I've winged a lot of it.
I'm just going to try and log out on my phone because I was logged in like two places. That was a lot of technology for me tonight. I don't know.
We're back. We're back in the room.
Right, I can't
Just
log out
me.
because I think that's going to end the meeting. So I'm just going to put my phone over here because you can't fully mute it. So let me put it over here. No.
Okay, no. So the most important thing here, though, is to be open every day during the summer, but do that on your own terms. We're not saying working all day every day in the summer, but be open, even if it's just like a morning photo in your garden, watching the sunrise, whatever it may be. Schedule time to check your messages. So don't completely ghost your customers. I always think um if you're only in contact like with your customers when you really want a sale, like when you're chasing month end, your customers will see that. They'll read through that. So just think of a time in your day. We all have it. You could do it whilst you go for a week, but think of a time in your day when you're gonna like get in touch with some of your customers and just remember to check that their order's okay or if they need anything, rather than just completely banishing. Use your scheduling to
Ah,
continue to post.
fun.
And just think before you go anywhere on these summer events, like, is there anything you can take with you for if you come across anybody? Um, or can you use Scentsy whilst you're there? Now, I actually take Scentsy Fresh in a little travel spray bottle when we go on like our family beach holidays, and I will spritz the towels in front of people on purpose. Because if you use clothesline, somebody will always say to you, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, did you not know this is Scentsy Fresh?" So can you use it on the out and about? Like if you're at a boys' football tournament, is there going to be a scent pack in their smelly boots as you pull it out and talk to them about it? So, Laurie, you're here. I think
I'm
I
trying
was
I'm
telling. Go
trying to
on.
see if I can spotlight. Hang on. Right, hang on. Spotlight for everybody, and then we'll be next to each other. Hang on one sec. Honestly, being on one Zoom and being trying to log into another, I was like, oh my God, this is not for me. But we did it. It's fine. Oh, I did it. Lovely. Okay.
So I was just sort of getting to the point where we was talking about being on days out and stuff, and I know you had a really good example of when you'd been at the farm. It was a
Yes.
few years ago. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. So, first of all, guys, I just want to say I apologise for being late, but sincerely, any of you that know me know I would never, ever, ever, ever not show up to a training. We had the SSD call on a Wednesday at 7, and that ran till about 5 minutes ago. So it ran, it was a very long call tonight. But yeah, that's where I was. I was with Orville and Dan and Kerr. So that's why I'm late. But yeah, so basically, and I'm sure Katrina's obviously covered this. Um, the summer doesn't have to change your business, like we always say, and Lisa obviously as well. Sorry, like, and yeah, sorry, Lisa. I wasn't sure if you was on. Okay, so the summer doesn't have to change in your business. Since it always fits into your life and not the other way around. So that really technically shouldn't change over the summer. It's just about adapting it and making sure that you are talking about it, that it's visible, and that you're taking it out everywhere with you. And then it's always really at the forefront of your mind. But yeah, the example that that Katrina is talking about is a few years ago, we took Finley to the farm. He was maybe like 3, 4, something like that. And as we got in, this was in Lincolnshire. This was when we lived in Lincolnshire, and we walked in, and the lady that we paired with, she was just lovely. She was very personable, very chatty, just a lovely, very like charismatic, really lovely lady. She was paying him a lot of attention, and I was like, you'd be a good Scentsy consultant. You'd be very good. And anyway, off we went, and we went off around the farm. And I said to Dan all the way when we was walking around, I was like, I'm going to speak to her about Scentsy, like before we leave. So sometimes there are going to be opportunities in your Scentsy business where you just have to like put on your big girl or big boy pants and just be really brave. And it doesn't, I was going to say it doesn't get easier. Oh, someone's at my front door now, sorry. And literally, Dan's upstairs, but
All
Finley's
right,
bed.
I'll jump on.
Yeah,
But no,
sorry,
what I
two
think what
seconds.
Laura was trying to say there is it doesn't get easier, but it's a bit like anything in life. It's just the more you do something, the more comfortable it
Sorry,
becomes.
you say.
So it's like anything in life. So there will still be moments where Laura gets nervous and feels uncomfortable, like just introducing Scentsy into conversation, probably less than I do, but I still very much do. But it's the more you do it, the less uncomfortable it becomes. And actually, it's never ever been as bad as you make it in your head. In fact, for me, it's always been way better. The response has always been way better than I was anticipating when I bring Scentsy into a conversation. Um, did you have anything
Yeah,
else?
yeah, sorry. So what I was going to say was, it doesn't necessarily get. Guys, can you close the door, please? Sorry. Thank you. Um, this is just working life with a family, right?
Mother has spoken.
I know. No, so they've just there's another door they can go out of. They don't need to walk through it. But yeah, so it doesn't necessarily. It does get a little bit easy because it's a little bit like building a muscle. The more you do something, it does get easier, but it doesn't mean that little like bit of, I don't want to say anxiety, but like that little bit of nervous energy, which is anticipation in your tummy, is still there. I got a good interaction of a picture of me holding opal fruits. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, Riri. It's still there, that little bit of butterflies, that little bit of, if you do public speaking in your job, or if you do anything that's like a little bit out of your comfort zone, having that bit of butterflies is actually good because it means that you care, and it means that it matters to you, and it means that it's important. So if you still get that, don't think, oh, well, nobody else gets that, because you absolutely still do. And it's something that I have to still be super intentional about. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can talk about Scentsy till the cows come home, and I don't. But in that moment of what I'm about to tell you what happened, I do still get that little bit of, oh, come on, you can do this. You've done this before. And also, once you've done something once, you've got data. Like you go, actually, I've done this before and it was okay and I survived. So I can do it again. So we walked around the farm. We went round, and when we were leaving, I said to Dan, "Oh, I'm going to talk to that lady about Scentsy," and I didn't have anything on me, like total, went out Scentsy naked. And anyway, when we got chatting, there was like a little gift shop, as there always is at the end of, anywhere you go, because they want you to spend money. And while we were paying for whatever he bought, I can't even remember. It's really bad on the training, but like we just got chatting, and I somehow told her I was a Scentsy consultant. I can't remember. I can't remember how it came up in conversation, but we were just chatting, and oh, maybe I'd said, "How long have you worked here?" And then she said, like, "Oh, what do you do?" I don't know. It came up in conversation, and I said to her, "Have you?" I might have even just said to her, "This might sound really random, but if you don't ask, you don't get in life, right? Have you ever heard of Scentsy?" I think that is what I did. And she was like, "Oh no, what's that?" And I said, "Oh, it's a home fragrance company. Like, I'd look, you've been absolute. This was it, yeah. I do remember this because I've talked about this before. You've been absolutely amazing with my little boy today. Like, I'd love to send you a sample. Like, I believe in like giving back and paying it forward." And she was like, "Oh, I love a bit of home fragrance." And I took out my phone and I said to her, "Are you on Facebook?" I said, "If you just type your name in there, I can find you." That's the bit I'm talking about being brave. Like, I didn't have anything to give her with my contact details on. So I was like, right, I need to get her details. And if I'm honest, doing that now, obviously we've got the QR code where you can scan people straight into your workstation, or you can add them on social media. So she did, and I added her on Facebook. I built a relationship with her. She was actually her husband had a home gym, like they were in the fitness world as well. So I did have like other stuff in common with her. And to this day, she still orders on my website now. And that was a few years ago. She doesn't order as much as she used to, but I will always follow up with her. She's still on my follow-up list. And she generally, if I'm honest, orders in a flash sale. But she's now become a website customer. When I first came back, I used to order and post it out to her. I remember she did me a lovely review. She took a picture in her hallway when her mini warmer came. So that relationship that was built from that moment of like bravery is still going all these years later. And again, that was in the summer. I was out with my little boy and I thought, right, do you know what? I actually thought she'd be a really good consultant. She's remained a customer. I have asked her to join. She said no, but you know,
One day.
she might be one day.
So
She
that
might be
was
one
going to
day.
lead us into Laura was going to talk about making sure your business works on holiday. We've both shared like lots of examples of how we have used opportunities where we see people in the summer holidays all going away, and how gifting somebody something and then nurturing that relationship can then lead into future sales or teamies or vice versa. But then we was going to talk about actually, so if you want to go away on holiday and just really enjoy your holiday, which is everybody's right to do, we all work really, really hard. But know that actually, rather than your borrow bag sat in a cupboard getting dust at home, maybe it's out somewhere potentially working for you. So, Laura, you was going to jump on to sort of business borrow bag ideas, if that I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. What I do just want to talk about really quickly, if that's okay, is about my relationship with the lady who runs these glamping pods that we have been to the last few years.
And you'll tell that story way better than me. I tried giving an example, but I probably got all the
Oh no, that's all right.
details. So you tell
I'll
it.
give you an overview. So, this lady. So a few years ago, this year will be our third year of going there. So a few years ago, we booked to go to these glamping pods in Suffolk, and I literally went onto like cottages.com or something. I went online and found them. Just booked through the website, and then obviously I got an email from. It was like Airbnb. It wasn't actually Airbnb, but anyway. So I got an email from the woman that ran it. Now, this person has not only become, and I will track back and tell you how it played out, but she's not only become like a Scentsy customer. She was a teamie for a short time. Her mum had MS, and her mum also passed away about a month before my mum did. I speak to her all the time. She comments on my Instagram. She will WhatsApp me. I will WhatsApp her when I see stuff. Like, this person was supposed to be in my life in some way, shape, or form, right? And I believe that day I was meant to book that. And I do think she ended up like letting Finley ride on a combine harvester when we went, but I'm going to backtrack a little bit. So when this booking came in, she obviously sent me a confirmation email, and I went back and said like, "Oh, thank you so much," whatever. And it wasn't like a bog standard email. You could tell it was like a personally written email because it's a very independent. She's literally got these two pods on her husband's farm. And so I was like, oh, actually, do you know what? I'm gonna go back to her. So before I was going, I was already thinking, I'm gonna take some Scentsy when I'm there. I'm obviously gonna plug it in. I'm maybe gonna give her a sample. I'm thinking maybe she could have it in these pods to fragrance them. And when I went back to her, I said to her like, oh, I hope you don't mind me asking. That's really funny that you said that, Trish, because this is how it came about. I said to her, I hope you don't mind me asking, do you have do you have do you use some fragrance the pods? Because I'm actually a Scentsy consultant, it's a home fragrance company, etc., etc. And she actually came back and said, oh well, I did actually see that on the bottom of your email, and I have been having a little look, and I've been having a little look online, and I do like the look of it. And what then transpired was, before we'd even gone on this holiday, on this trip, she had placed an order on my website. She already had product, so like before I got there, and I then took product with me. I put some in, and I'd like tagged her in a post when I was there, and she shared my Scentsy, and I left a mini warmer there, which I'd obviously got out my credits, and then it's gone on and gone on and gone on. She was then buying products for the pods. And then she also at Easter she'll put like an Easter mini warmer in there, and then like Halloween comes around, she got Halloween warmer. Anyway, so I said to her like, it would make sense for you to become a consultant. Like then you can have your own account, and so she did join as a consultant for a short time. But then she just said, she was like, I have got too much going on. Like, she's literally basically, when she got made redundant, she'd set up this business. She's like, I've got too much going on running this. She does all the cleaning herself. Like, she literally runs these things on the farm. So she said to me, I'm just really happy to be your customer. Like, thanks for the opportunity for being a consultant, but I'm really happy to be your customer. And like I say, she's now become a friend. When we were staying last year, she came and literally knocked on the door and said, "Does Finley want to ride on a combine harvester?" So him and Dan went off in the fields with her husband. In the fact, it's just turned into a lovely relationship to somebody that I is actually now really special in my life. So again, I could have just gone, she could have gone, thanks for the booking. Here we go, that's that. And but again, look for opportunity. She might have come back and gone, actually, I'm not interested. But if you don't ask, you'll never find out. Like if you don't ask, the answer's always going to be no. So just be looking for opportunity when it arises if you're going on if you're going away, if you're going on holiday.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're going on holiday, what I know Laura and I both do is we try and get our bags out in businesses.
Yes.
I
Sorry,
have two
yeah,
no, no, that's fine. I have two borrow bags, and I try to make sure they go somewhere before I go on holiday. And for me personally, I have exhausted sort of all my local salons or places that I use myself, but I will go back to them. I mean, because different people are in for different appointments at different times. You can always go back to the same place. But if you feel like actually I've maybe asked them a lot, I want to try and go somewhere else. What I often do is go to my really good customers or friends and family and say to them, where do you get your nails done? Where do you go for your hair? Do you Would you mind asking if my bag could be in there? Not everybody's going to do it for you, but some do. I often tell them there'll be some free Scentsy in it for them. I'll give them like a little bar or something like that. But last time I did this, I think this was when we was on the cruise or in Berlin, one of the two. So the deputy head at my work, she went to the lady who does her nails and said, "My friend has these smell pots. They're actually really nice. Could she leave it here while she's on holiday?" This lady said, "Yeah, that's fine." I didn't get any sales at all from that. It was there for a week, didn't get any sales. But what did happen was the owner of the salon followed me on Instagram. And then she messaged me and she said, I run the PTA for this school. We're doing a fashion show shopping evening. So they had like a local boutique in where they were doing the fashion show. And they just wanted, they were really specific about these type of stores they wanted. She said, we want high-end stores. So I was very chuffed that she considered Scentsy as high-end and invited me. And it was the most lucrative stall event I have ever been to. So if I'd have not been brave and not said to my colleague, could you ask the lady who does your nails if they'll have my bag whilst I'm on holiday, then that opportunity would have never happened. The bag in the salon didn't bring me any customers, but it brought me an event that then brought me customers that have been the repeat customers ever since that event. It was a really successful event. And I'll just quickly add to that, on the night of that event, I cried in the car park before I went in and rang my husband and told him I was coming home. I'd had the worst day ever at work. I wasn't well. I pulled up and I realised I'd basically forgotten the main bag that had all my warmers, my smell pots, my extension cable. And I was just like, I'm not meant to be here. And my husband told me to remember who the F I was, and wipe my tears and go do my thing. And it was really successful. So sometimes things just feel like a disaster, but like really good things can come from them. Um, but it's really sort of like, I know Laura and I, we've both given people sort of like consultant trial bags when we've been on holiday, haven't we, as well? Do you know where
yeah,
you
yeah,
the bag?
absolutely. Like,
Do
but
you want
what?
to talk about that one?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So my friend who is a hairdresser, I'm gonna reference Trisha's comment as well in a moment. So my friend who is a hairdresser and she has a home salon. I had asked her to join so many times, and she kept saying no, kept saying no. Anyway, now I left when I went on holiday. I can't again. I think it was maybe when we went to Lisa and I went to Summit the first time. It was the first time I did it. Anyway, I left stuff in the salon. What that has now led to is every year she still hasn't joined as a consultant, but every year she has a Christmas shopping event. So basically, I left my bag there, so it didn't get a lot that time, but I put a clothesline fragrance flower in her toilet, right? The amount of people that commented about, so what I'm saying is the first time that bag went in, it didn't necessarily lead to loads of sales that time. But what then transpired after that was I have had so many fragrance flower sales from people going in her loo. She then has a Christmas shopping event every year, where she raises money. Like one year she did it for the like the children's ward at the hospital. One year she's done it for McLane. Last year she did it for Mind, I think. But people have started to like ask like if I'm going or if like I was aware I had something on another night once and I think Or she did a summer one as well. Anyway, but what I mean is that relationship now, I've got clients of hers that now expect me to be at those events. And that was from leaving a borough bag in there once when I went on holiday. So again, it's not always about like the short term, it's the relationships that you can build and like what it can lead into. So make sure if you're not going to be here in the country, make sure you're with pots and not at home, because if they're at your home, they're no good. They want to be out and about doing their thing when you are away.
Or if you're holidaying somewhere where you know people. For example, what I mean by that is my sister lives in Wales. It's like 300 miles away from here. I've got family in Scotland. So sometimes my holidays are visiting them. But if I've not found somewhere to leave my bag, I will take my bag, but I'll speak to my sister or people before I go and say, can you ask your colleagues or your friends if I bring my borrow bag on holiday, and then we can pass it around them. So I've done that a few times and built a few customers in Wales where my sister lives. So if I've not found a salon to leave it in, but I'm going on holiday where I know you can't do that if it's just like a booked holiday, but if it's that type of holiday, people I'll bring my borrow bag, and then I give it to my sister when I get there, and she's already spoken to some people like her neighbours that are going to have it whilst I'm there, and now they're just bulk orders, so they order together on my website and split the postage. There's all different ways to work it, but also if you've got people that are thinking about joining, offer them the bag whilst you're away. I've got Sarah Broughton, she springs to mind. She's a fantastic consultant in my team. She spoke the other night on our Sunday call. She had my borrow bag when I was on holiday last year, and she'd been humming and ahhing about joining, and I just said to her, right, I'm going to drop the bag off. You do with it as you wish whilst I'm away, build some orders. When I got back, she had an active order. So I was like, right, that's it then. Let's just get you signed up. And she's absolutely flying. So that's another way. If you've got people sitting on the fence, unsure to join, and you're going on holiday, give them a bag and tell them to try being a consultant whilst you're away. I did have one lady who worked in a pub do that once, and she just set it all up in the pub whilst I was away on holiday. People placed orders, and then she joined when we come back. We flicked the order for her. So there's lots of different ways to work around it. I think we have gone over a lot of the points. It's been sorry guys, it has been a bit like a
no, it's been a bit distracted. Sorry, that's totally
no, but I think that's been good because it's
yeah. I think
it's disjointed.
It is, and that is actually totally the message. So, two things I just want to kind of add. Trish, I just want to reference your point, and it comes in here. I'm sure you probably said about being visible. The bottom line is, right, if you're not, and I'm not diminishing how you said you feel about getting your borrow bag out, but the reality of like if you did a bit of self-reflection, because we never grow if we don't self-reflect, like how many people honestly have you asked? Because not every single person is going to say yes necessarily. You need to be making it into your habit, so you're almost assumptive that people would want it, and you need to be asking 10, 20. See what I mean? It just needs, people need to know you're a Scentsy consultant and that you have. And if you're not asking, it's the same with Scentsy Club, it's the same with sponsoring, it's the same with anything. If you are not asking, the answer is always going to be no. And you have to make sure you are visible. And just looking at the notes we made earlier, Katrina, you may have covered this. Like when you are out and about in the summer, you're going to be talking to people. You're going to be. What sprung to mind as well is like when we used to go to a caravan site in Norfolk a lot, and we did end up having a caravan there shortly. But even when I used to go on holiday, like I would always have samples. I'll be talking to people, or like I heard a quote a lot of years ago, and it is very old school, and it is a bit cheese, but I love a bit of cheese, and it's so true. Like if your mouth is closed, so is your business. If people go to my social media, like. I know that if somebody said Laura Sawkins to somebody, they are going to say Scentsy, right? I know that if somebody said Katrina McLane, they are going to say Scentsy, whether that's in person, whether that's online. If somebody said your name to somebody else, would they know you're a Scentsy consultant?
And if the answer is no, I want you to pop in the chat. So what are you going to do about that? Or even if you think people would know that about you, still pop in the chat something that you're going to take from tonight, a little idea of something you've thought, actually, I can try that in the summer. Or it might be if you think people wouldn't associate you with being a Scentsy consultant, what are you going to do about that between now? And it's simple. It's just have those conversations.
Absolutely what Emma's just written. If social media closed for good, would your business? Would you stop or would you be brave and start talking to people? It is So true. And it's not about being, you need to be like, people are attracted to passion and excitement and something that like, so if you are, so it will radiate out of you when you are talking about it. If you are excited about something, then people are gonna bounce off that. And I'm not saying everybody has to be the same personality. Like, not everybody is. And I've said this before, like, I am an ex-dancer. So for me to dance around on social media makes sense. I'm not talking about that. I'm not saying everybody
Nah, I
has.
won't do that.
No, Katrina doesn't do that. But what I'm saying is you have to be authentically you. And when you are authentically you and you talk about it and you share it and you are passionate about it, it feels really like simplistic when I'm saying it. And I'm not diminishing like how challenging it can be, but you need to be visible as a Scentsy consultant. You need in your real life and in your online life. And
And
it
it's
certainly doesn't mean I heard you saying this as I came on, like, it certainly doesn't mean that you should be working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like, absolutely not. Like, I am the biggest advocate for, like, it is so important to take the time out, spend the time with your family, be disciplined with your boundaries, actually. Like, I am really strict and really disciplined in, and this isn't that kind of training, but what I'm saying is, if you are having a day out with your family, go and have a day out with your family. So, like that day when I spoke to that lady at the farm, I wasn't on my phone answering messages or doing anything else. I was out at the farm with, but I had a conversation that then led to a relationship that was built. But it's so important that you do have them boundaries and you maybe work for a little bit in the morning, then go out, do your thing, and then pick it up. It's about being disciplined with your time and working it. If you haven't watched
was it that
Rachel Pence,
yeah, I've
Rachel
got that on
Pence's
the list.
short 13-minute training that I know that Lisa shared into Sense Squad because actually that reminded me to share it, even though I'd said it to her on the phone that morning. I was like, oh my God, this training's brilliant. So I know it's in both Sense Squad and Good Sparkle, both in the Facebook group and in the WhatsApp communities. It's 13 minutes long, but she basically talks about um, going with the tide, I think is what she said, and like working your business into what you are doing. And it totally fits into exactly what we're talking about tonight.
And if you see summer as not a season just to survive, as a season where you can maximize, and if you just do the simple things with your boundaries, you set your work hours, but do the simple things around making sure you're still working on buy, host, join, planting those seeds and networks, your business will thrive. Those seeds will bloom just as we enter an incentive period, which is what we should do all year round. But it's like the perfect time to be doing those simple things just to help your business thrive through these summer months.
Print off the document that Lisa created a couple of weeks ago. Again, I know that's been shared and pinned in both groups, but like find that, print it off because they are like non-negotiable like growth tasks within your business. That document, exactly, Caroline, is solid gold. And if you are doing those things regularly, your business will grow. Again, Scentsy Club. If you are building up Scentsy Club and you get some Scentsy Clubbers, imagine by like next summer, if you've got 200 PRV, 500 PRV, whatever from Scentsy Club, that takes the pressure off a little bit. So again, all these things to make sure that you are talking about. But yeah, make sure you print off Lisa's document and you're actually actioning the things on there.
Oh, it's really, really helpful. Ray, did you say you wanted to give a verbal example?
Yeah, go for it.
Verbal. Can't even speak then.
Hang on.
Yeah, but I've forgotten what it was now because I'm in my
Ah,
40s. That window went.
sorry. There we go. That's why we've got some notes, but we've not really followed them. But here, it was in case the window totally went. I think we all relate.
Claire, I've just got 4 new clubbers from the BB&B sample. Yes, Claire, love that. Love it.
And well done to Donna, who's taken action on tonight's call and has contacted 4 businesses whilst we've been here.
Absolutely. Amazing. But the reason the documentary is in both Scent Squad and Glitter Sparkle Facebook groups, and I know it's pinned to the top of Scent Squad. I'm sure somebody will be able to tag you in it or send it to you after the call.
I've remembered.
Oh God, hang on. I'm going to spotlight you. Hang on.
Oh God, don't. I'm a sweaty mess.
Oh my God, I can't.
We were talking about social media.
Yeah.
And can we can we run our businesses without social media? Now, my friend Janet, her social media about 6 months ago, they just turned it off. It took her weeks to get it back from, it was both Instagram and Facebook. Not only did she lose loads of Scentsy information, but her life too.
Wow.
Photos and all of that stuff. We just think it'll be there forever. However, this week she got it back in the end. This week they've done it again.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
However, she had things in place this time, which meant it was a bit smoother on her business. Because she learnt the lesson it was a steep curve. So I would recommend before embarking on that curve,
Yeah.
you get stuff sorted because it really, really impacted her business, her mental health, everything. So yeah, that was what I was gonna say.
And also the opal fruits. That was literally
Oh yeah.
nostalgia to the core.
I love an apple fruit.
They were 89p in B&M. I grabbed them, did the fastest photo in the car park because somebody was waiting to get into my disabled space. And I literally went, and then looked at it later and I was like, oh, fucking hell, that was awful. Oh, flipping heck, that was awful. Um, but posted it because that's my sort of angle of social media. And yeah, loads of people, where are they from? Where are they from? Don't give all the information, then
Yeah,
people
yeah.
ask for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my comment was, fun fact, and this is the God's honest truth, my mum never let me eat them because she said they made me hyperactive. Shock.
Oh, I can't believe that. Right, I
Um,
think that sort of brings us to a wrap, doesn't it?
Okay, so and people are busy, they are not scrolling as much in the holidays, so making sure you are talking about and one-to-one messaging is so important. 100%. Caroline, I had a WhatsApp ban for 4 months. Yes, you did, my love. WhatsApp was my go-to for contacting customers. I also had a hard lesson there. But like the boss that you are, you pivoted, and it sometimes it takes having these lessons to make sure. Katrina, you had it, didn't you, with your Facebook group as well?
Well, it was just Facebook in general.
Facebook in general, sorry,
I
yeah.
wasn't allowed to comment, message, be in touch with anybody on social media.
But
Long
you
time.
were,
But
you got
yeah, I had lots of people's details on my workstation and I just
good.
via email.
And
Because
actually, guys, and I think I probably could have logged out of this, but I don't know. I want to take a picture. Actually, having those contacts in your workstation and having that contact over email or it is actually lovely to have that other line of, because social media can become all consuming and it's really important to take that time out from it sometimes. So yeah, definitely make sure you've got various like methods of communication. Right, has anybody got any questions or anything before we finish up? Let's take a little pity. Smile. I'm going to do one of everybody as well. I'm going to put it on gallery. There's an echo now because right, I'm going to do all the pages, right? So everybody smile if you're on. Hang on, why can I not go through? Right, that is everybody. Right. Has anybody got any questions before we
Yeah,
finish up?
I do.
Who's
I
that?
have one question. Sorry, it's
No, don't
Trish.
apologise. Go for it.
Um, I had it and it's gone. Oh, the email thing. Did you put it in Chat GPT and it tells you how to do that? But Ray said she had one that just links to her website.
I think your best bet with any tech stuff is to ask Google or ChatGPT. It'll give you a step by step, or YouTube will give you a
Perfect.
video guide. Just because Laura and I are not the best people.
I am not the best person.
We'll be clear and concise
Although,
instructions.
we've done it tonight, so we've got through. We've maybe got to stop putting not give ourselves a little bit more credit. I'm certainly not a tech guru,
That's
but
fine.
yeah. Do
I
you mean
couldn't tell you how I
version
got
though?
my email signature out. I honestly don't know. It was a long time ago, but I think I got a YouTube video, like an idiot's guide.
Yeah. YouTube University, honestly, anything
Yeah.
you need to know on this earth, YouTube will tell you.
And
Anything.
also borrow bag wise, in my borrow bag I put a warmer, some scents like the main scents like clothesline, and some own samples for the people to keep. Is there anything else I should put in, like the sample pots, the mini ones?
What you mean, like your circular ones?
Yeah.
There's no obviously you could have like a cleaning borrow bag, or you could have a a laundry borrow bag, or you could have like
Yeah.
a minifan borrow bag with the pods. Whatever, there's no like right, set thing that you can put in a borrow bag. If it's not the first time they've had it, then obviously you can just give them your whiff pots and they can give that a
Hmm.
try.
Hmm.
Just obviously, if it's a new customer, yeah, maybe give them a mini warmer to try and a couple of cubes. It obviously
Yeah.
works on whatever you've got, as long as you're getting those scents under people's noses with a catalogue, with some kind of
Perfect.
communication to talk to you.
Yeah.
And I would always say like put an end date on it as well, because
Yes.
then they know when it's coming back. Katrina, was there anything
Yeah.
else you'd like to add in borrow bags?
No, I just think overthink it. Just get the smells under
Yeah.
noses,
Yeah.
and just make sure your details are on
Perfect.
it. But there's loads of training specifically on borrow bags again on.
Yeah, I think I've seen some on Scent Squad, so I'll read back, look at them.
I think the biggest thing to like summarize there, Katrina, before we finish, what as you've just said is don't overthink things. Like
No.
way too many things in not just in Scentsy, but in life, people way overthink things and then don't end up taking any action. The You need to take the action first. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just do it because nothing is going to change. It's that thing, isn't it? Nothing changes if nothing changes. And if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. So you need to take the action and actually do the damn thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do
Thank
the
you,
damn
ladies.
thing. That's
Right.
okay, guys.
Thanks for
Right. Thank you.
joining us, guys. Sorry it's a
Yeah,
bit
thank
late
you so
then.
much. I'm sorry, it had a bit of a disjointed start, but we got there in the end. So, it says that I'm recording this on here. I don't know if that means I've recorded it since I came on or whether you were recording it. I don't know. We'll find out. Thank you so
Let me know.
much,
Okay.
and I'll share this as soon as I can. Right, thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye.